Okay, here we go.
I had faith that there was at least one other Zim in this building. Oh, hot dog. All right. Well, let's see what the Ergen Invader is able to provide as we start things off on Jellyfish Field.
It's gonna be a scrappy one because I mean we see how JUT plays in this game. It's all forward, all combos, and how can my neutral facilitate that?
Now the biggest problem with playing in that manner is that you have to watch out for when Zim is going to be able to put out Gur as a get-up-jail free card of sorts. Gur is spun very quickly and allows you to have that luxury of just breaking away from pressure, and then given that you make him jump off of your lights, you could just be ever-present on the ground and in the air. To say nothing where if MJ wants to slow down the match, start putting other projectiles in the way. Like, once the gnome in conjunction with Gur makes it a nightmare to return to the stage. And talking of, weird bounce off the ledge because of Gur getting dropped down. He's going to make it a 3-1 stock count in favor of MJ.
Gur's a friend. Gur's a friend to Zim through and through. But JUT's able to, at the very least, take a stock, and stocks can fly very quickly with a potent enough combo game, as they're not having the greatest of answers to some of these vertical extensions. But
it's also worth noting that Zim is also one of the other lightest characters in the game alongside of Lena, so it doesn't take much for JUT to get MJ to a relevant percentage range to start threatening for kills earlier. Like, look at this at 97%, it's in a bad spot. JUT already looking around for the smashing, but just threatening that airspace, I think the better call.
I like that MJ's been very reliable with his pokes. Not only just with what you would think is the all-purpose move that neutral as we saw it pass right through and closing out with even more air dance. But he's willing to stay on the ground to throw out some of these multi-sided tilts, stay almost just calm with how he's approaching his traps, and worst case scenario, you always have the ability to throw out Gur at a moment's notice.
Like, Zim has really good moves for just keeping you outside of his zone. Like, neutral light and down light in particular are so good at just keeping that space. Now, trying to be proactive in that space is fairly difficult, but by nature of this matchup, JUT has to try to approach. So there's a lot of opportunity for MJ to rack up that big damage just to find space away from JUT.
That lightweight really proving differential as it's just the neutral that ends up closing out the stock with that. I hesitate to call it a beak, but that really is what it is.
That's a beak!
That's a beak.
That is, evolution has dictated that this Thornberry can crush, like, walnuts with that thing.
He's mimicking all these animals for a reason. He's learning from nature. Looking for the either neutral tech or tech roll away that time, but now we get to see the inverse of the zoner spectrum, especially with Zim at a deficit. JUT doesn't need to approach. He still is approaching, but he doesn't need to.
I think it's the layer of confidence that, like, you can break through Zim's zone of control fairly easily, especially as, unless you command Gur to stop moving, like, he is just going to keep advancing. You just walk past him and all of a sudden he's less of a problem. And it takes a lot more of a proactive effort for Zim to reposition him, or just wait to spawn yet another Gur. And I think that's more the approach that MJ's been taking, which is why the Gur control has been working out so well. But the more that JUT stays on the offensive, the more this game is looking to his favor.
And I love these eagle dives as well, as that one was actually called out by MJ, but more often than not, these eagle dives that get in and just get under MJ have been routinely successful as he finds the other one into the jab block for that to close out the flip. Clean stuff from Nigel. We got a long set ahead of us.
There's a potential for it, especially because while we've seen MJ be very proactive in the matchup so far, he very well could just build the wall, just Gur, gnome, threaten with neutral heavy, retreat and downlight just to keep that ground space. It's very possible, although the fact that we are still fighting on Jellyfish Fields does lend itself to not as heavy of a zoning play. And I think that's just an insistence of trying to play it out on the stage as best as you can. Zim does well with zoning on every stage that's available, but you gotta stay a bit more proactive with your non-projectile buttons when you're on Jellyfish Fields, and that's proving to be difficult for MJ as JUT takes the lead once again.
Yeah, it feels like JUT has really adapted to the almost mid-range play that MJ has been wanting to play at. Having these items, but we rarely are seeing Gnome, and maybe that's an attribute to the mid-air movement that JUT has been throwing out.
Dead at 70! Phenomenal play from JUT!
That's smashing, to say the least.
Oh, and he's not done yet.
I mean, it really feels like JUT, in terms of the best thing about his game plan, is that his punish game has been so good for this entire day. So having that available to you on a character that can't take much punishment is a recipe for disaster if you're MJ. Trying to find ways to retreat and get more into center. There's the Gnome, and there is a very tight recovery route that JUT could not make.
Trying his damnedest to do it, although the percentage still looking pretty comfortable. Although, Up Special managing to give the recovery for MJ. One more of those, and yeah, no, you are gone. That's a 2-1 count for JUT. And one more, and he's got top 8. A sip at a 2. A sip at a 2. Another one. Another one. One more.
And it's just starting to snowball slowly in JUT's favor. Like, he lost game 1 by 1 stock, game 2 by 1 stock, game 3 by 2 stocks. Like, JUT just seems like he's figured out the base game plan that MJ wants to do, and it's up to MJ to change that up if he can get through JUT's impressive vertical wall. These up airs are putting in so much work.
Like, the fact that a lot of the Nigel play that we've been seeing from JUT as of game 2 has been all of the vertical combos. Like, it's a rough break for Zim because of how effectively you can kill off the top as Nigel.
It's almost routine at this point. Find the combos, end them in a up strong after 4 or 5 up airs. That being said, looks like MJ's starting to put something together, but 2 missed kills. I mean, this man has got a little bit of weight behind him, and now,
Yeah, that's a snap. All right. In conjunction with really good DI, well-timed air dodges, and use of Eagle's Eye for repositioning, JUT's had no problem with surviving, and I think that's proving to be the most difficult here because it allows JUT to build up such momentum behind his play. He gets to go for these more brazen combos, and at 201% with no threat of dying, MJ has to figure out a way to change it up.
And I love these early roll-ons too. MJ just has been really struggling finding stocks because of how JUT is taking the best part about Zim, the ledge trapping and this like aggressiveness that comes from having very few options to get off ledge, and just choosing to ignore it completely. You can punish roll, but either way, it's going to result in an on-stage fiasco.
And I think that's where JUT has really been shining. The fact that he's turning a lot of his ground play to his own combos. And he's been making a lot of the aerial approaches just work. And an excellent call out makes the 3-1 count to JUT as he finds his way into top.